How's it going? My name is Dylan.
My name is Leslie.
And this is Music and Mascara podcast in the car. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about blog posts. We're going to talk about Patreon. And we're going to talk about consistency.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Good job. It's their turn.
Yeah. So, blog posts.
Yeah. I wrote one.
You did.
It
was really good.
May have been a while.
So, okay. So, again, this starts with the beginning of the year. You're like, I'm going to do some... This was actually before the beginning of the year. This goes all the way back to probably a few months ago, huh? Saying that you wanted to start writing again. So, I know it was about gum, but what are you writing about?
So one piece that I was missing. So obviously we had all the music and mascara stuff, and yeah, I did start talking about this months ago, but wanted to get this podcast off the ground first. Like,
yep,
we talked about creating this routine before step into a new one.
Yep.
But so writing for music and mascara, which is very, a lot of it was business, social media, that type of thing, which is what we do. They would have gone the wrong way on the road.
If I wasn't sitting here. Yeah.
Yes. And I write a lot about personal development, which is a huge passion of mine. But something I don't write enough about, that I don't talk to people enough about, but that ultimately I am the most passionate about, is more from a wellness perspective. So this was the first article, and it's super random, but it was on my mind. I was researching some things and I was like, no, I'm going to start here. So it may seem random to other people, but that is also how my brain works.
But health and wellness is a thing.
Absolutely.
That has been like your thing. I mean, we've been married
Since
7 years, and it's before
then,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for a tad bit of history, again, all of this is coming out because I'm going to do something to kind of announce it. I just wanted to write a couple of things to kind of get it going first.
Okay.
But just to give our listeners a sneak peek on that side. So I have a holistic nutrition educator degree. That's from 2009. I think I finished that.
Right.
I did do some things with it for a while. Never what I thought I was going to focus on, but it's definitely still a passion, and I would like to rekindle that and work more with that.
So doing some...
Including certification. So, a personal goal.
So, continuing education and learning some more stuff, and learning some 21st century stuff, or whatever.
And sharing it.
And then sharing it more,
the piece I haven't done well.
You share it with me every day. Like,
yeah, but he doesn't listen, so
you
maybe
should
I
eat
should
that.
share it with
You
other
should
people.
take this every day. I bought this for you to take every day. Why aren't you taking this every day?
That makes me sound like a very naggy wife.
No, it wasn't. It's not that. It's like, that was a habit. Speaking of habits that I'm trying to form, there are some things that I need to fix health-wise, and you made some suggestions, and I've been like, okay, I'm actually going to do it this time.
Yeah. And so to even tie this into some things that we've talked about before, because this has been kind of months in planning, getting some ideas out of my head, I knew this was the direction that I wanted to go, and I clarified, like, my elevator pitch, for lack of a better term, like, really lined up where I'm headed, what I want my business to be, and that also allowed me the room to say no to a project that came up. So
yeah, because you want to focus on a particular thing.
Yeah, it was a hard decision though, like, and that was what I had to do, was kind of zoom out and like, where am I headed, and does this line up with where I'm headed? And where I'm at right now, I don't feel like it did. So
yeah, it's possible that there will be little aspects that'll
Absolutely.
pop in, and other collaboration ideas that will pop in.
Because you don't want to feel like you're not open to things,
right?
But you also don't want to get yourself off track.
You do want to stay focused.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
That's a big deal.
It's been a big week for me.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal.
Yeah. We also had a new video come out related to coffee. I wish I had some right now, actually.
Yeah, I know. I almost made a cup before we left, actually. So, one of the things that I really, really enjoy doing is product reviews. They're fun to do, but the problem is that I don't have a home for them. Like, I don't want to just start a product review channel, because you have to niche in order for those to be successful, or blog. You have to niche them down. Like, they have to be about cameras, or they have to be about 360 cameras, or about action cameras, or about makeup, or they usually have to be super niched down. And I can't be.
We're so random.
I just can't be bound by a niche, man. So, in conjunction with this blog, or this podcast, I was thinking, as we share just stuff that we're doing on a weekly basis, if something comes up, and it will, I'm just going to do a review about it. I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel. We'll just talk about it in the podcast really quick. It probably won't get 70 million views, but maybe it will. But I don't care, because it's fun to make them.
Well, and the thing I like about it is because people ask us about stuff, or we may mention something, and it's nice to have somewhere to point somebody if they're not sure.
Yes, because we are trying things all the time. I don't think people realize, I mean, if you were to go back, we did a few of these videos where we were like, the stuff that we bought on Amazon, because we buy so much stuff, not so much now that we've sold our house, but and it's not because we want stuff around, it's because we're genuinely curious.
Yeah.
Is this thing going to work? This is what it promised that it was going to do. Does it do it? And so to have an outlet for that level, plus it helps me, I get to learn my camera stuff better. It helps me to, shoot better. It helps me to write better. So basically, as I write reviews, I'm just practicing everything that I'm trying to learn anyway. So it's a productive outlet, I think, that I've been wanting to get into more. And so you're going to see more of that stuff on the Music and Mascara YouTube channel. And so this week was the AeroPress Go, which is a type of coffee maker. And if you know us at all, you'll know that we love coffee, and we always are drinking some kind of coffee. And I have like 6 different ways to make it, and it's super fun. And so, so I made a video about that. That came out earlier this week. I keep saying that I'm making an earbud video about this whole battle of the earbuds, because I bought like 3 different or something earbuds. The reason I've not made that one yet is because I want it to be good, and I want it to be actually informative, and I feel like I don't know enough about the earbuds that I bought, and I'm still trying to understand everything. Like, I just have to use them a little more. I just have to use them a little more, and that's really all there is to it. So,
So let's talk about, side note, I don't know if we cut this or if it stays for Patreon or what, but speaking of Patreon, so last week we recorded an episode and it was messed up.
Yeah.
And then we had to re-record an episode.
Yeah.
And what happened in that is, when you have to repeat yourself, when you don't have a script, you forget that you have to say something twice because you already talked about it. So it's like dismissed from your mind, even though you didn't talk about it again when you were trying to redo something. Anyway, so let's talk about Patreon.
Okay. We have a Patreon. Number 1.
Is that the end?
No, that's the beginning. We're putting unedited videos over there. We're putting some stuff over there.
Of the podcast and the YouTube?
Yeah,
it's the YouTube video of the podcast,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep, and it usually goes up about, like, for instance, today's Saturday, so this will be on Patreon Saturday night late. and our podcast won't come out in an edited form totally done until Monday.
Right.
And sometimes it's even earlier. It just depends what day of the week we actually record the podcast.
Yep.
They come out on Monday, so a lot of times you'll see...
Saturday's our deadline.
Yeah, Saturday's our deadline.
So you'll have it by Saturday at
This
the
week,
latest.
it's 5 p.m. on the way to dinner on Saturday at the deadline.
It's gonna,
but
we're
it
pushing
was that sort of a week.
Yeah.
We were just really
Yeah,
busy.
because we're not even finished talking about our week yet.
No,
it's insanity.
it's been insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Patreon thing. One huge thing that we have over there. Leslie just kind of teased what she's doing in 2020. We did more than teased what we're doing. This whole thing about us selling our house and getting rid of everything and all that. We haven't really talked about it a whole lot. And if you go over to patreon.com, there's a video on there that is only on there, nowhere else, that gets a lot more into it.
Yeah.
So you need to go check it out.
So there's that.
Yes.
So let's talk about probably the biggest thing that happened this week, as if everything else wasn't big enough, right? You hit a milestone.
Yeah, so, and it's not like the end of the world milestone, it's just a different milestone. So, my YouTube channel hit 30,000 subscribers. It doesn't sound like a lot. But for me it is, because the first 10,000 took 4 years. The second 10,000 took a little under a year. And from 20,000 to 30,000 took 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So it was like really exciting.
Yes, really exciting. And what it enabled me to do, because I actually started a Patreon for that thing too, and did some stuff, and because of all the explosion of views, as a way of thanking my audience, I am giving a guitar away. So I've notified the winner, and I'm waiting to hear back to make sure that it's legit and everything. But we're giving a guitar away, so that's really cool. And it's, the lesson in it is 4 years for the first 10,000. 4 years. And I don't mean 4 years like uploading sometimes. I mean, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was uploading every day. I was shooting a video and editing it and uploading it every day. And then I realized that was not sustainable.
Right.
And then we went to twice a week. And we have been uploading a video twice a week. We've missed a couple because maybe I'm sick or we're on vacation or something. But we'll talk about that in a minute too. But for the most part, there's 550 something videos on YouTube now. And it is just now, over 5 years later, just now turning into a thing that some would say is worth my time. Like maybe
Yes.
it wasn't worth my time before this. And some would say that's not worth your time. Like you're putting a lot of work and money into something that doesn't seem to be paying off. But that is how all of this works. And one of the things I've learned is consistency and not giving up are the only difference between success and failure.
And that brings us to the topic of this.
Yeah.
So we want to talk to you about consistency because you're the perfect example.
6 months ago, or not even 6 months ago, probably about the time we sold our house, so probably 4 months ago or something, we were riding in the car like this before we started this podcast.
Yes.
And I was saying, I'm quitting.
Yes.
I'm done. I'm not doing guitar stuff anymore. I'm not making any more videos anymore. I'm done. Because while it is paying the bills, quote unquote, air quotes, kind of, it is not growing. It is not doing what I want it to do. It's not. So I was going to quit.
Yes.
and I was so frustrated. Like every video that uploaded, I was frustrated. I was really unhappy with myself, with, oh, look at all this time and money I've wasted. And
yeah, and so if you do any kind of personal development, or if you love memes, like, there are so many things out there that are like right before success is, you know, like, you hit like a low like that, or you feel like you're defeated, or you're so close and you can't even see what's on the other side. And here, you know, good thing you didn't quit, because there's like a new momentum that is happening, and you also found new motivation.
So
being consistent and always refining and being open, I also feel like you found a flow and a direction that you really needed to find.
So here's something very interesting about it too, is so we can get so caught up into, this is the new thing, this is the new trend, this is the new everything. So I need to adopt this, I need to adopt this, I need to get this kind of camera, I need to start shooting this way, I need to more. And honestly, it's baseball, basketball, hockey, football. When the guys get like that, they go to a coach and he says, this is how you throw the ball. This is how you catch the ball. This is how you run. Like, literally fundamental stuff. And you made the suggestion to me, start over. Like, start over from the beginning. You have new audience now. It's different than it was before.
Yes.
I had like 11,000 subscribers. You're like, start over.
And also to put blinders on. I told you that too. Like,
yeah,
focus on what you're doing, not what anybody else is doing.
Yeah, because while it's good to, like, if you're a YouTuber, especially like in my case, it's good to watch YouTube. It's good to understand what other people that are good at it are doing. But the problem is you can, honestly, you could get to a point where you're spending so much time learning that you're not actually doing anything.
I have that problem.
And so that's what I was doing.
Yes.
I cut off myself from watching most forms of YouTube and most forms of online content for about a month, and completely reset and said, I mean, I still watched, I kept up on my Facebook and kept up on Instagram. I didn't do one of those stupid, like, gimmicky, like, shut all social media off. But I just said, you know what? Concentrate on something that's going to move me forward, and don't waste time on any YouTube-y stuff, because YouTube is my thing.
Yes.
And it worked. And I started over with stuff, and that was at about 11,000 subscribers, and that was in November, and we will be at 31,000 subscribers tonight. So 30,000 subscribers yesterday, 31,000 subscribers tonight. Like, literally just killing it. And that has completely elevated my entire game. I have had to completely, the episodes that we've talked about for the last 3 or 4 weeks about time management, about prioritizing, are a result of the fact that my entire game has raised.
Right.
And I am, the whole ship has raised, not just YouTube.
Right. Yeah, so that is funny, because you're absolutely right. What's been on our mind and what we've been focusing on is actually a direct result of all of this happening, and real conversations and real focusing and, you know, simplifying still. We're still simplifying and cleaning up, because
I'm selling less part numbers.
Yeah.
I'm selling less quantity of stuff. I'm more profitable. I'm getting more done in a day. I'm getting more done in a week. And I have more spare time.
Having more fun.
And having more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have more spare time. I don't mean spare time, but I mean I feel freer with my time.
Yes.
Even though
which is something I've always thought you needed, because you are creative. But if you don't have space to be creative, you can't be creative. And I need you to be creative, because I'm not creative.
Well, that's true too, because that is one of the things that we took up this week with your whole launching of your blog, is even all the creative surrounding your blog, and images and all that stuff. So I've been doing all that stuff too, like doing images.
Which also gives you practice.
Yeah, man, it's super fun. It's just turned into, but the whole game has raised. Business is busier. The website traffic is up. Instagram traffic is up. Facebook traffic is up in some areas. It's down in some areas. Facebook hasn't been as strong for me, so I don't really use that as a metric. But I'm busier. We're making more money. We're doing stuff is more profitable. Like, it's working. So the whole lesson in all of this, I guess, is there are two things, especially for beginner people, that are, let's say right now, you watch this and you're like, or listen to this and you're like, you want to start a YouTube channel, but you don't know where to start, or you want to start a podcast and you don't know where to start. First of all, be willing to start at zero. And don't worry that you're at zero.
Well, you have to start at zero. Yeah.
Everybody starts at zero. And, well, not everybody. Like, some people are famous, and as soon as they post something, it has a bajillion likes.
But they weren't always famous. They had to do something to get there.
Everybody had to start at zero.
Yeah.
And so remember that. Even those people have been working on that brand. They have been working on themselves as a brand or whatever for years and years and years and years. And
you can't compare yourself to somebody's highlight reel.
No, and I hear it so often. Well, I made a couple YouTube videos and they didn't do anything. Well, I've made 550 YouTube videos and they are barely starting to do something. So you just have to put the work in. But here's the weird part and the very cool part about it. None of that work goes to waste.
Right.
Because 550 videos in, episode number 10 just this week fell out of the top 10 most videos of all time.
Yes.
Views. So the work that I did 4 years ago is still working for me.
Right.
I'm still selling products as a result of work I did 4 years ago. I'm still getting views as a result of work I did 4 years ago. So since it lives on YouTube, there is no waste of time. Because if you're 100 videos in, 500 videos in, 1,000 videos in, and then all of a sudden something pops off, now you have this whole body of work that is all working for you, and none of it is wasted. That is a massive, massive thing. That's number one. I know that was one big, long point, but it is massively important. And number two, don't give up. Don't stop. Whether it's you're building your Instagram, whether you're building your website traffic, whether you're building, you're doing all of it at the same time, doesn't matter. Like, do not stop.
It goes back to the point, you talk about it has to be something that you really care and are passionate about. But that's why. I mean, if you didn't like guitars, how hard would this have been? Like, it does matter because it's got to be content that you want to create, that you want to share with people, whether they're seeing it yet or not.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
And be willing to, like, it takes almost the humility of being, okay, I got to look at this from the very beginning. Yeah. Like, start totally over, like...
And even, so you keep saying the beginning, and what makes me laugh, we're talking about this episode 10. I mean, how many times did you go back and look at those videos? I mean, they're horrible.
Oh, they're terrible.
Like, you've grown so much since then, and it would be so easy to be like, oh, that's not even who I am anymore.
In the blog to this podcast, we will link... Well, you know what our latest videos look like. Even that coffee review video. You go watch that. The level of production, just the confidence behind the camera. And we'll put a link to episode 10 in there. That's like it's got over 100,000 views now. You should go watch it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. It's super boring. That's the point. Go see how terrible it is. But it still works.
Yeah.
And we have a product based on episode 10. And I sold one this morning, and I sold one yesterday. That's awesome. It's still doing work for me.
Yeah.
So
the takeaways being, be consistent.
Yes.
And to remember that this is something he always says, you're only one click away.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know who that next click is, what that next share is. You know, it only takes something like that for it to go viral, for it to, I mean...
Yeah, it could be one customer
One click.
who's the right guy,
Yeah.
who tells somebody, who tells somebody, who tells somebody. It could be we're dealing with the internet, so it could be
Yeah.
one click on your website, one click on your Instagram, one DM, one tweet.
That's right.
You're always one click away from. I say it on a daily basis to myself. Like, it'll be 5 o'clock, and I'll have had a pretty slow day business wise, and I'll be like, man,
I just need one
why
click.
am I stressing? It's a 24-hour day. We're on the internet. It's 6 o'clock at night.
Yep.
But I'm still only one click away from having an awesome day, and I'll wake up in the morning and boom, I did, and I didn't even realize it. Like,
Yeah, because we're already asleep and people are still on the internet.
yeah. So you're only one click away from it. I will say one thing about the consistency thing, and then we can be done. But the consistency thing too, even on vacation and stuff, find a way. There's tools. There's tools where you can schedule posts and you can do stuff like that. Take advantage of, this is just a little bonus tip, take advantage of apps and tips or apps and shortcuts and all the various little web tools and stuff. Like, investigate. I'm having a problem with X or Y or Z because this and this and this, and this is my excuse why I can't be consistent. There's probably some sort of little tool thing that costs $1.99 on your app store or whatever that fixes everything for you. There's so much stuff out there, and that's another thing that I've been trying to really focus on too, is making sure that I'm understanding the tools and using them correctly so that I can work smarter and not harder.
I love it. That's my saying.
Yep, it is her saying.
Awesome.
That's it. My name is Dylan.
My name's Leslie.
This has been Music and Mascara in the Car. Make sure you check out the podcast.
And the Patreon.
And the Patreon, patreon.com/Music and Mascara. Make
And the
sure
website.
Oh, yeah.
We just upped the game.
Yeah, go check out the website too. Because we've streamlined it, added a tab. All the YouTube stuff is there now. All kinds of stuff. Super fun.